You are in a shuttle descending to the surface of a planet. And you might remember that Darby and Pierce and Marius, for you, there's been some sort of weird skip in reality. So you were in a shuttle just lifting off a planet, and now you're descending to a similar but different looking one. Terrence, that's not the case with you. You have just got into a shuttle, leaving Mir and the others behind on the station, and you are just descending on a normal mission with these people. And all these people were there at the start of when the shuttle started descending. And so you're in a shuttle descending. Beneath you, you can see the exchange, your transport ship above you. And again, you're very close to the glitch, this golden wound in space. Very, very close. So there's all these like golden threads. And so it's like you're descending through these kind of golden threads. And then beneath, you can see a planet. And there's what appears to be a mansion on a hill. And the planet is covered in dead plants, dead sort of slightly dark gold plants. And there's a voice in your ear which says, "Associates, this is the exchange. Astronomer, please report."
Astronomy online.
Systems engineer, please report.
Systems engineer reporting.
Historian, please report.
Historian reporting.
And medical officer, please report.
Yes, I'm here.
Associates, you are descending to the planet O0. Your instructions are to terraform this planet. Our records indicate there is sufficient terraforming equipment on the planet's surface. Begin with making contact with the employees that are already living there. You will... And at that moment, every light in the shuttle dies, and it all goes dark, and it goes into free fall towards the planet's surface. And we're just going to flash back in time.
All right.
So Scott.
Straight in, okay.
I can warm you up gently next time.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to warm you up gently next time. It's not fair.
I'm just glad I'm not the captain this time. Yeah.
So, Scott, we should start connecting your character with Nic's character and Ross's character, because we haven't really done that. So Darby and Pierce grew up on the other side of Carly, your home planet. Terrence is quite fond of Carly, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He's quite homesick.
Yeah. I like that, because Terrence is often quite emotionless, but for Carly, that is a genuine soft spot for him, isn't it? So Darby and Pierce came from the other side of Carly, where Extractor is cutting down loads of swathes of forest at the moment, and then they moved to your school, when they were kind of 6-7 years old, something like that. So I actually just want to do a couple of little scenes just as they, as they arrive, and I just want to do a Terrence and Pierce scene and a Terrence and Darby scene, if that's okay.
Sure.
Terrence, let's start with you. These two new people arrive at the school. Which one, just very instinctively, right? So there's Darby, who's are you an astronomer, Darby?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Pierce is a historian, and those aren't their professions at the moment. But Pierce is kind of he's a little geeky kid, isn't he?
Yeah, just a little slight bookish kid.
I think that means Terrence is going to take an instinctive dislike to Pierce, because Pierce reminds him of the things he doesn't like about himself.
Fantastic. Well, we now obviously have to see that played out, right? So rather than doing the other scene, which is so you two will be paired up for a science project, which involves going out and hunting for insects. And let's start with just a really short introductory scene with you, Pierce, saying to Terrence, "Here's a really huge bug."
Here's a really huge bug.
Should you be holding that in your hand? I think that might be venomous.
I think as long as I hold it by its leg, the piercing mandibles which hold the venom shouldn't be able to reach up to my wrist. So just if you could pass me the collection jar, please.
Yes, but I don't think I've ever seen one bend quite like that. It does seem to be very keen on getting to your wrist.
Yes, Terrence, the jar, please.
Yes, of course. Yes. Hold it.
Oh God, Terrence, it's on my shoulder. Please, get it off. Get it off.
I'm not going to touch it.
Get it off.
Don't move for a moment. I'll get a leaf so I can sweep it in there. Just stay very still.
Call the proctor.
If we leave Terrence going off to get something and Pierce just freaking out because there's a bug on his shoulder, can we just do that? Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing. And then all of you grow up at school together, all of you, right? So Mia and Dylan and Marius are there as well, just sort of around you. And Darby, it's you're coming to the end of school now, and I just want Terrence to get. I was going to say a letter from Extractor, but we're in the future a bit, so get a sort of a communication from Extractor on a screen. And so Terrence you'll walk past Terrence, and who will clearly have a something saying Extractor on it. This is you being invited to interview, basically, Terrence. And Darby, can we just start a really short scene? You'll just be in the school canteen and start a really short scene with you saying you're going to work for Extractor.
Do I have to use that intonation?
You can use any intonation you want.
Brilliant. Oh, you're going to work for Extractor?
No.
Oh, it just looked like you had a message from him there.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry.
Yes, they're trying to recruit me, but look, I'm already overqualified for anything they've got, and I'm planning on pursuing tertiary education for a few more years. By the time I get the qualifications that I plan, I'll be able to have my pick of any job on Carly. No, there's no way I'm going to end up working for a company like Extractor.
What's wrong with them though? I mean, they have all this stuff set up. They've got tons of infrastructure, lots of opportunities off world.
Well, I don't want to go off world. I like this one, and frankly, I don't like what they're doing to this planet.
Oh. What do you mean?
Well, you've heard the stories, haven't you? Oh, you used to live over on the other side, didn't you, in some of the primal jungles? Oh,
I mean,
they must know what they did there.
Well, they weren't jungles when I was there, but
exactly.
it's really impressive, all the the equipment they got set up over there, and it's so, I don't know, it's efficient. It's just it's great.
Well, it sounds like one of us is going to end up working for Extractor then.
Well, I hope that the rest of your education and the job that you end up with is much to your liking.
Of course it will be.
And you all go through school together, and you go to the Extractor Recruitment Centre, and of course all get jobs with Extractor, and then you all you lift off into space in the exchange and go to the far reaches of the galaxy. And so just before we go back to the falling shuttle, it will be the night before your assignment, or I guess Darby, Pierce, Marius, this is like a night sometime in the past, because you've got into this new assignment in a slightly weird way with reality skipping.
Oh, so we wouldn't remember the stuff from last time?
You will remember the stuff from last time.
Oh, okay. Great.
Because otherwise it will be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Did you say the planet's called O0 by chance? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Versus O0. Okay.
The other one was called O0. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you.
And so you will all be on the verge of sleep, on the exchange. And Marius, a voice will come in your ear, and it will say, "Hello, Marius. Do you enjoy working for Extraxer?
Oh God. Can you? I had the surgery, right? The one that for trusting Extraxer.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think I'll say I do.
Okay. And Cupp, is that true?
You know, I've had the surgery, I think, every time to trust them again. So I don't know if enjoyment's the right word, but I think he's on the fence about it. So he thinks the best answer is I do, but he's not sure he trusts it fully.
Yeah. And so you're all wired up to various sensors, and there's probably something going through those sensors.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it says that,
A little bit, yeah. I think his thought might go to Mir, who they just left on the other planet.
Yeah. Hello, Pierce.
Hello.
When you finish working for Extraxer, what will you do?
I suppose if I move into private life, I would like to write a book or series of books of my own. All the while that I've been working in the archives, I've been taking notes and building a slate of research that I will be able to muster to add to, the fund of information about some of the planets that are in these furthest regions, and the ways in which that they're both similar and different to the ones in which human populations are today.
Thank you, Pierce. Sleep well.
If there's anything else you'd like, okay.
And then in another pod. Hello, Terrence.
Hello.
Do you think you will enjoy your next assignment?
I don't do this work because I enjoy it. I do it because it provides possibilities. I have no expectation of enjoying it.
Good night, Terrence. Sleep well.
Always.
And then in another pod. Hello, Darby.
Hi.
When you think about your own death, how do you feel?
I mean, scared, I suppose, and a little worried about everyone back home that's, counting on me. But I think mostly a little scared.
And it sort of senses your, there's various sensors sort of monitoring your body signs. You say that, and it says, "Do you feel at all relieved?"
Relieved by the thought?
Yes, Darby.
I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Thanks, Darby. Sleep well.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. Can I ask you a question?
And there's silence, but try asking a question if you'd like.
When my mama died on the job some years back, Extraxus sent us some money to help out a little bit. And if I wanted something like that to go to my daddy, if something were to happen to me, do I have to sign something or do something special to set that up? Or is that going to happen automatically, or?
You don't need to worry about that, Darby.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking that question. I love that question.
It's good.
And so we'll go back to the shuttle is in freefall just for a moment. And then then you're sort of on the ground and you're not quite sure what happened. There was a sensation of the ship being guided downwards to a rest. But anyway, there you are. You're now, stationary in and the right way up in a completely dark shuttle.
Does our personal equipment work? Can I do a system scan?
Oh, yes, you can. What would you like to do?
I want to see if there's any power, or if we can draw backup power, something like that. You said it's totally dark, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's totally dark, but yes, your personal equipment is all still working. So give me a roll.
Yeah, I want to try to activate the emergency system or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there probably won't. Well, yeah, give me a roll, and we'll see where we go with that.
Yeah, when I roll 2 6s, I guess only one of them matters. I didn't do too well. 3 and a 2.
3 and a 2. There is not an emergency system for you to start up. There's something has gone wrong with the clock. Okay. So you're a systems engineer, so you will know that everything depends on these sort of atomic clocks inside. The electronics are just keyed into it, and the clock is doing weird things. It's sort of not progressing forwards as it should. It progresses forward, and then it goes back a bit, and then it progresses forward, and then it sort of cycles between two numbers for a while. There's something odd going on with the internal clock, and that's probably why it's crashed.
Okay. I'll make a note to tell Pierce about that later.
Do we have comms online?
Yeah, you can all talk to each other. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Right, everyone. Any injuries? Does anyone need medical attention?
I don't think so.
No, I appear to be in one piece.
Yeah, all good here too.
Wait,
Well,
I'm
something.
sorry. Oh, where are we again?
O0, they said?
Right.
Are you sure you haven't sustained a head injury?
I may have, but I fear I may have suffered some sort of syncope, or perhaps even a severe concussion.
All right. Yes, we have just crashed, so a concussion wouldn't be out of the question. Right. First things first. Once we get systems established here, I want to run a full medical diagnostic of everyone before we go anywhere, just to ensure that everyone is operating at optimal levels.
Sure, you do that every time we go anywhere anyway, so...
Yes, but this time I have a few extra checks that I'll want to run.
Yeah. Pierce?
Yes.
Can you pull the records for O0? I'm getting there's something going on with the atomic clocks. It reminded me of what you found at the last mission, O0. It had the time didn't sync up.
Right. Issues with the time. Just a moment, and I'll. If I think we've established that I've got these ocular implants that allow me to see clearly, but also provide like an augmented reality interface for my access to ship's records and Extraxa archives.
Sure.
So what do I know about O0?
Give me a roll.
Let's see. Here, 6 and a 1.
Oh, you have a 6. Okay. We haven't really talked about the history of Extraxa, have we?
No.
No, let's do that. So I mean, just to fill you in on the history of Extraxa, I mean, it was founded probably a couple of centuries ago by. So I think one of the founders was called Freeman, and the other one was called Lou. There was a first ship they had called the Invisible Hand, which sort of flew to the far reaches of the galaxy and started collecting samples and mineral samples and things like that. And then they began to sort of colonize or sort of put watch stations on various planets. Your records are a bit strange. Some of them say O null, some of them say O0. It's a bit unclear.
Okay, but this was a place where one of these watch stations would have been placed, and but some of the records I have refer to it as O null, some as O0. Do any of the, and personally, Am I seeing anything that rhymes with the experience that I just had?
You remember the alternate universe as you... Actually, I don't think you were there for that meeting. But in some way, you've skipped over to some different version of Onar.
Okay, so that's huge. But anything, Ari, the question I was asked, was there anything practical about this is just a watch station that's here? And what is our actual mission here? Are we also to get people out of here?
No, so you have your operational structure. Oh, you said that was huge. Are we doing change rolls?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, I rolled a 1. Great.
Yeah, cool. Anyone else that feels they need to do a change roll, given that the shuttle just blacked out and plunged, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to, but the way you described it makes it feel appropriate.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit unsettling,
Terrence
that, isn't it?
shaken by that.
Terrence doesn't care. Don't try to... Don't try to act human now.
Darby is a
hard to
little
argue.
freaked out.
Sorry.
My
It's hard
change
to
goes up.
argue that. It's hard to argue that even Terrence, when a shuttle blacks out and goes into freefall, will go, "This is interesting."
Yeah. Gotta scan everybody. Yeah.
Graham, are there any like windows on the shuttle? Is there a way to look outside at all?
Sure. Yeah, you can look outside, and you're sitting on a bed of dead greenery. Well, I would say greenery. I mean, all the plants are gold, right? But on a bed of dead plants, and there is a mansion on a hill.
I think Darby's gonna like slam her hand on whatever the thing is that releases the restraints, and then rush over to some sort of window or whatever, and try to get eyes on the glitch, and just try to like see what's going on with that. I think similarly to how Pierce is trying to find that rhyme, just seeing what the resemblance is and what the differences are from the last experience that she remembers having. Any visual differences with the glitch, any like similarities with how it's like behaving or moving or whatever.
It's similar, but not quite the same, right? So you seem to be looking at the stars. You seem to be in the same region of space. The glitch is large, and it's where it was before. This is also a planet where the days are really short and the sun goes across the sky. But it does look different. I mean, there is a mansion on the hill, but the previous planet was completely bare, and this is just full of dead greenery.
Is the mansion Victorian?
Yeah, it looks very similar to the previous mansion. Yeah.
Right. As I said, I would like to do full medical workups of everyone before we leave.
Great. Give me a quick go on.
Yeah. What I'm looking for, Terrence is a little troubled by the way that some of the crew are behaving. Obviously, it's not unusual for extractor employees on missions like this to start behaving oddly, but this is happening ahead of schedule. So, Terrence, under the guise of just checking for trauma, is also going to do full neurological and, as far as he can, subtly, just a quick psychological examination just to check that people are operating within normal parameters.
Give me a roll.
I got a 6.
Excellent. That's great. So firstly, physically, everyone is unharmed. Let's remember that, because we'll come back to that later. Psychologically, they seem fine. I mean, they are not delusional. They genuinely believe they lifted up from another planet and something happened, and now they're coming down to this planet. There's perhaps a slight discontinuity in their record. So, I mean, if you look at various of their sort of vital signs, these look like kind of similar but slightly different people to the ones you knew and have been on previous missions with. Does that make sense? And the other thing, so you rolled a 6, Terrence, is that you're scanning for life, and there is life all around this shuttle.
Terrence will file that last bit away just for the moment. But the thing about these being perhaps analogues of the people he knew, I guess most people might be a bit freaked out by that. On the other hand, Terrence is somewhat excited because it means Dylan didn't completely fuck out everything up before, and there is still a chance potentially to go ahead with those experiments involving parallel universes.
Great.
And so maybe what the others see is a rare smile from Terrence.
Oh,
Can I roll change?
Through the day.
just when Terrence smiles.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know something's totally fucked. I do think during this psych workup, I would have told Terrence about Mir and that we left Mir on the other planet. She wanted to stay in the mansion. We couldn't get her out.
No, if what we're talking about here is analogues, does that mean that Terrence still remembers Mir as being back on the ship before the transport brought us down here? Mm-hmm. Terrence just looks at you, blinks, and says, "It's all right, Marius. That was your Mir. Mine is fine."
What? Okay. The fuck? I mean, Marius knows Terrence is really fucked up, so I think he's just going to walk away from that comment.
So you're all sitting on a dark shuttle talking to each other, just to remind you.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, while I was performing these readings, I did pick up life signs all around the ship. I don't know if it's the vegetation, maybe it's not as dead as we thought, or it could be something more dangerous. I would suggest running more detailed tests before we leave the shuttle, just in case there is anything hostile out there.
I would venture to say that it's almost assuredly dangerous.
Yeah, I'm going to stay here on the ship. If the plants are out there, I think.
Well, Marius, is there any way you can get us kind of back up and limping at least?
No, I tried that. It seems like we don't have any backup power or anything. We're just kind of stuck here. Well, I guess no one's going to pick us up until we terraform this planet. Maybe Terrence, you could go out and send communication back if it's safe.
No.
I'll do it. I'll go out there.
I don't know, Darby. You're kind of a rookie still.
Yeah. Before we send anyone out there, Marius, let's just run a few more tests, perhaps get some samples from outside that we can analyze, just determine what these life signs are, whether they pose an existential threat, and if they do, then try to work up some kind of defense against them. Or alternatively, we could just shove you out the airlock and see how it kills you.
It'd be nice if we had a fucking botanist, wouldn't it? Pierce, can you get a record of the botany on this planet? If it's a little different?
Most biology is just archival listings and taxonomy. So I should be, as long as I can provide a sample, we should be able to cross-reference it with other samples that I've got in my archive decks. So a sample. Dr. Drummond, can you hand me a collection jar?
With pleasure.
And a slight bit of deja vu that he can't quite put his finger on. See, do we have anything that shoots fire or anything that might? Pierce is like, it's like, I'll take a sample, but I don't. If these plants around us are like others that I've encountered, then they may be aggressive in their
Pierce, I can go with you. I'll watch out for you.
Excellent.
Marius, I know you think I'm a rookie, but I mean, I can hold my own. Just trust me.
Well, mind your backs.
We will.
In the meantime, Marius, do you think you can at least try to get the comms up to speed so that if there are any other Extractor employees or any other sentient beings on this planet, we might be able to make contact with them?
Yeah, should I just roll every 5 minutes? No. Yeah, I keep if they're going to be out there a while, I'll keep trying. I'll try to do something. Maybe we can make contact with the mansion. Look, Terrence, you weren't there for the last mission. It was fucked up, all right? I mean, they're all fucked up, but this one was fucked up. So yeah, is there anything else I can do, Graham, systems-wise? Like, can we use our personal comms to make external requests?
You could try to contact the mansion or wherever with your personal comms.
I think
you could do that.
Weirdly, I want to see if like mirrors at the mansion. I don't know, anything we can do to make contact with the mansion, I think would be nice. I'll use my change dial on this too.
Yeah, give me a roll to contact them.
All right. 4 is my highest.
Okay, that's good. So there is a crackling and a slightly bad connection, and from the mansion, someone replies, "Yes."
Yes. We're here from Extraxa.
Yes.
Is the planet safe?
No, it's not safe. Get up here now.
What's not safe? Are the plants safe?
You need to get up here now.
Plants, are they safe?
No, the plants aren't safe. Get up here now.
How? We're surrounded by plants.
You can run through them now. Just make sure you're inside by sunset.
Okay. I think
sunset,
that resonates. Yeah.
Every sunset, and then we'll have it going. Every sunset, and then it cuts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice. Did I recognize the voice by any chance? Okay. I'm gonna just relay that to the whole team.
Okay.
Exactly what they said. Yeah.
Then yeah, I will attempt to, with whatever instruments we've got on our way out of the shuttle, snip off a tendril of this dead golden plant and put it into some sort of vessel, and then I suppose we'll hightail it to the mansion.
Well, that sounds good. So let's imagine the shuttle sort of opening, and you will get out, and so you're sort of on top of the shuttle in this like sea of plants, and you're snipping a bit off, are you?
Yes.
Okay. And let's just let that happen. We won't roll for that. Darby, are you out as well?
Yeah. I think, and kind of keeping an eye on anything that is anywhere in proximity of Pierce, and like all of the plants around him as he's focused on whatever he's cutting.
All right. And you keep an eye, but they don't move. They're fine. They just stay there, and they look like dead plants. They're just sitting there being dead greenery. And so you have a little snippet.
Okay. Excellent.
I think we should run to the mansion. I trust the voice. It reminded me of the people in the last mansion, Pierce, who seemed like they knew what they were talking about when they said, "Get out."
Yeah. So these were...
Marius, we seem to be spending quite a lot of time standing here talking about how we should be running.
I was like running on cop. Sorry. I think we should run. Going out ahead.
Brilliant. All right. So you run through the plants.
Yeah. Avoiding them as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Well, the plants don't react. They just, you run through this field of dead plants, and then you arrive at the mansion. Now, the last mansion was really quite beautiful, and it sort of had raked gravel gardens and things. Now they're all there here, but so this mansion looks similar, but it's much less well tended. So there are sort of there's sort of crumbling fountains. There's the clock is broken, and there is sort of on one side of the mountain like a pile of gravel.
Do I get a sense of how far away from sundown we are?
Yeah, not so the sun is getting high in the sky at the moment. Remember, the days are short here, so a few hours.
Okay.
Cool.
You think we should just go around to the servants' entrance?
Yeah, save some time. How are we going to terraform this planet by sundown?
Let's not worry about terraforming for the moment. Let's get inside the mansion, get a sitrep from the people who are here already, and then we'll make the plan to terraform. But survival first, terraforming second. It will be difficult to terraform if we're all dead.
Yes, we appear to have walked into a crisis unfolding already in progress. So let's
Just like every other mission. Yes.
Yes.
Darby, did you say you were keeping an eye on Pierce?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's bleeding.
So yes, let's go round to the servants' quarters. What?
Pierce, and she'll just kind of dumbly point at wherever the blood is.
Excuse me?
There's a little blood there.
Where is it?
It's a lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood right there.
When I say that, your palm, there is blood on your palm.
I look at it and smear at it, attempting to find the wound.
There isn't one.
What the? But, and it's only on my hand?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to roll change. I rolled a 6.
Great.
Hunky dory.
Can I do just like a quick once over of like everybody to see if I see any other blood?
Oh no.
Yeah, you can. No, everyone else is fine.
Okay.
Ooh.
This,
I mean, at the moment, give me half an hour, but at the moment,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
fine.
that's fair,
Yeah,
that's fair.
cool. Yeah, just to be clear.
Pierce is like looking at this and like looking in the glass of the mansion, seeing like, is there blood on my face? Is nosebleed? Not uncommon with Pierce. No.
Pierce, where's that plant at? That one that the cut that you took, the cutting?
I want to say it's like I've got the little jar hooked on a carabiner on my like jumpsuit.
And it's glass. It's like see-through.
Yeah, let's say it is.
Any blood in there?
No.
Okay.
And it's not the case that it's very close to where the hand was or anything. It's
Okay.
I didn't touch anything. Maybe perhaps I did suffer a concussion, and I'm sort of touching around like. But you looking at the doctor.
Yes, Pierce. If you're worried, I can give you another checkup once we're inside the mansion.
Yes,
where
of
we've
course.
been told to go to avoid death.
We should go in the exact same entrance we went in. That last time. Is the layout the same, Graham? Of
Yes.
the mansion? Okay.
It looks very similar. More kind of torn and broken windows, but it looks very similar.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go through that
Okay,
servants
so
corridor.
We'll walk in.
you will walk past. So I'll just tell you there is a massive pile of like gravel or something to one side of the servants' wing, and then you can walk into the servants' wing if you like.
Is it a curious pile of gravel? Like, is there anything else in it? Like, do we see?
Don't know. It's just a pile of gravel. Do you want to go and look at it?
I mean, yes and no. I'll take a second look, just a second close look, but fast, like running over just to see, like, is this a heap of bodies buried in gravel or something?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes. Well, actually, so that as you come closer, yes, there is a sort of smell of death there. Yes.
Wait, can we back up? I didn't really want that to be what it was. I'm gonna roll change.
That seems good.
Do I see body parts or just the smell of decay?
So at the moment, you're standing next to this pile of gravel. It's quite possible there's something on the other side of the pile of gravel.
Oh, like it's obscuring it. I do want to find out. My change goes up. I do want to find out: are there bodies in the pile or around the pile?
In the pile. Sorry. On the other side. They're on the other side of the pile.
Okay, how many?
Yeah.
Can I see if I just take a quick glance?
Yeah, dozens. It's a mass grave.
I'm going to get on my comms even before I enter the mansion and say, I found a mass grave at the gravel pile. Dozens of dead bodies.
Absolutely fascinating, Marius. Why don't you tell us all about it once we're inside the mansion where we've been told to go to avoid death?
I think Darby's pounding on the surface.
Yeah. Like,
The door opens. I mean, it's not locked. That's fine.
Oh,
Great.
okay.
The servant sentence.
we go in, and I also call to Marius, like, yes,
I am lingering a little bit just because my change went up and it's dozens of bodies. I just want to, like, are they in Extraxa work uniforms? I want to know a little bit more about them.
Yeah, some of them are in Extraxa uniform. Some of them are in medical gear. Yeah, they look like Extraxa workers.
Are the plants, like, around them or is it just people?
There are no plants around them. There are wounds. They have wounds.
Are they, like, obvious from weapons or from plant punctures or anything like that?
Well, we should do a roll for that, I think.
Okay. I don't have
Marius, what in God's name?
I'll add my change die because I don't have an occupation that suits
No,
that.
it sounds really good. And Darby and Pierce, I just want to cut to you, and then Marius will come back to you.
Sounds good.
So Darby and Pierce, you're in the corridor. You kind of remember quite well in a sense. So this corridor of servants' rooms, but now the rooms that you stayed in. I mean, this is now obviously a hospital ward. There are smears of blood. There's no curtains or anything. It's all been stripped. There is moaning coming from each of the rooms. Hospital ward.
God's name.
Oh, and actually, there are several people in each room. That's the other thing.
I want to swing into one of the door frames and peer into the room, perhaps that in the layout of the last one of these buildings we were in would have been my room.
Yeah. The foreheads turn and look at each other. Look at you. Hi.
Am I looking at any faces I recognize?
No.
Okay. We're the Extracts Terraform team. What is
So
going
are we.
on here?
There's a laugh at that. We're all the Extracts of Terraform team.
Yeah, change roll.
I'll get in on that. I'll get in on that action, actually.
Does a 4 make it go up, Graham?
Yes. Yeah. If it's higher than your previous change, your change
Great.
goes
Yes,
up.
of course.
Wait, what's happened here?
You're asking one of the patients.
Yeah. And you, Graham, I'm asking.
So it looks. I mean, it looks like a war hospital, right, Darby? I mean, there are people with wounds here. They don't look. They're not lying comfortably in comfortable beds. They are sitting with like some of the bleeding wounds. Some of the bloods are the mattresses are soaked through with blood. There are men. And they're all in different stages. I mean, so there's a man in the corner who obviously won't last much longer. And it's just blood leaking from a wound in his neck. And there's people who've lost limbs and things like that. And there are others who seem to have experienced more minor wounds and who will talk to you.
And I just want to clarify, was there ever war on Carly? Like, is a war hospital something that Darby would even have like context for versus just like there's a bunch of injured people laying in beds here?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. So Darby probably hasn't seen a war hospital. So maybe that's me saying to you as the player,
yeah.
to give you a
Okay.
frame of reference. So no, it's absolutely horrific injuries.
And Pierce has seen photos and film and archival images of this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Darby was saying, what happened here?
And you asking the...
Yes.
And one of the more lucid of the patients goes, they come every night. Just get upstairs before sundown.
Who's in charge here?
Wait, talk to a doctor. I don't know. Are any of you medical? Can you help us?
As it
Terrence
turns
has
out,
wandered
yes.
off already.
Yeah.
Is Marius still outside?
Yeah. This is an amusement park for Terrence, by the way.
I think that at the command to get upstairs before sundown, Darby's gonna actually run back outside and find Marius and like physically like grab his arm and start dragging him into the building. Marius, come on, we gotta go.
But I rolled a 4. I'm going. I just want to see like what happened here.
Well, you can see later. We can also just ask them what happened. But we gotta get inside. Everyone's saying we gotta get inside. Let's just go.
Yeah, but what if they did this? Do you understand? They might have killed these people.
Well, what's standing out here gonna get you, even if they did?
What? There's nothing out here. There's no danger here.
Marius,
We need to know who we're dealing with. I'm just trying to like glimpse their wounds. Do they have weapons? Are they? Something's got to be off with these people.
Yeah, so you rolled a 4. I mean, these people have been sort of penetrated right through, right? So, I mean, some of them have sort of huge holes in their chest, as though something is, being right through their chest. Some of them have, there are people with like half a skull missing, as though something's kind of shot through there. people with limbs missing, things like that. But it's penetration, basically. Things have been thrust through them.
Okay. I would think weapons, though, when I see these bodies, right?
There's no weapon you've seen before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's exciting. Did I already roll change? Sorry.
Feel free to roll it again.
I don't know. I'm getting up there already.
Unlike most weapon rolls, right? It is a hole right through the body.
Oh, fuck. I'll roll it.
So, imagine a 6-inch, 3-inch hole, sometimes 1 or 2 inches right through the body.
Yeah, just enough to go up. All right. Very good. Yeah, you're right, Darby. Just be careful with the people in there. We need to learn more about what happened.
We're gonna watch out for each other, okay? But we got to stick together if we're gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I feel for my lower back to see if there's a wound. Like lots of thoughts racing.
I think Darby's gonna be holding your actively holding your hand now.
Okay. The other hand, then we'll sneak back to the lower of my back.
Well, actually, Marius, let's make this the point where actually there is a massive pain in your shoulder. So, Darby, you will try and drag Marius away, and Marius, you'll be unable to move just for a moment. This absolute crippling pain in your shoulder.
Stop.
What? I'm sorry. Did I do something? I'm sorry.
Fuck.
Are you
just,
okay?
Like holding the shoulder.
Yeah, and of course your first thought is that something is thrust through your shoulder.
Yeah.
If you're hurting, we should get you to the dock. We should just come inside.
I think looking around to see like what shot me or stabbed me.
There's nothing obvious, and if you look at your shoulder, it looks fine.
I'll try to be dragged in by Darby at this point.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, and the pain will go away after a moment, and you can go into the mansion.
I don't know. It was a cramp or something. It was terrible. I don't know. what it. This planet's fucked up, obviously.
Well, you want me to take a look at something? Are you okay? Do you want to just go talk to Doc?
I'll let Terrence do it, I guess.
Okay.
Shit. He's gonna love this. All right. If I do catch up with Terrence later, I'll tell him about the phantom pain.
Sounds good. Terrence, do we want to do a bit with you? So where were you? Where were you going?
Terrence has just wandered deeper within the building, looking for any medical staff.
Great. So let's have you walking through the Great Hall. It's this, Great Hall of what used to be a lovely mansion, all kind of stripped of tapestries and furniture now, and it looks as though people rush through it at high speeds and just breaking stuff. And yeah, there is a medical doctor there, and so he would walk at speed, carrying supplies. So he's coming from the other wing, and he'll stop and talk to you and go, "Hello."
Yes, hello. Sorry, I'm Dr. Drummond. I'm from the new team.
You're medical.
Just arrived. Yes.
You're medical. Get back there. There's people that need your help. I can do some of them, but you'll need to do some out. And at that, he will try and leave.
Show me, I'll say, and I'll put a hand on his shoulder.
I'll show you. So he will. You say you put a hand on his shoulder. How do you mean?
Yes. Just put a hand on his shoulder. You said he was starting to walk off.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I can.
Yeah.
I can show you.
Just sort of a friendly hand. Yes. Show me where it is.
Where the people are.
Yes. Where the problems are.
Leads you back to the ward if you'll come. And he just waves his hand. Every room, just do what you can. Focus on the ones who will survive.
Right. Tell me what is happening here.
They come every night. Just be upstairs by sunset.
They?
Yeah.
Look, you want me to help, you're going to have to give me more to work with than that. I'm very happy to help. I'm very happy to save lives, but I am not doing this if I'm only being told half the story. You bring me up to speed now. You absolutely have time because now you have an extra doctor here to help you. If you want my help, then you will give me the information I'm asking for. Otherwise, I will arrange for my team to evacuate.
What do you want to know? You can't leave. What do you want to know?
What do you mean we can't?
How are you going to leave? What do you want to know?
You say they come at night. What
The plants.
are they?
The plants.
The plants come at night.
Yes.
But they crawl through the house?
You'll see. I can hardly explain it. You'll see. They just
Yes,
come.
I've noticed that. Right.
There's people dying. Can I go and see to them?
I hope you're of more use to them than you were to me, I'll say, and then walk into one of the wards.
Okay. Let's stay with you, Terrence. So it's a war hospital. There's people with lots of wounds. There's a couple who are obviously going to die. There's others with like shoulder wounds that are bleeding a lot. What would you like to do?
Well, we'll go through and do some quick triage. Look at, try to determine who I can help.
All right. There is a guy you can help. He has a shoulder wound. It's bleeding. He looks at you, goes, "Is there anything you can do?"
Yes, of course there is. Sit back. I'll get some gauze and we'll stop that bleeding now and get this wound disinfected. And while I do that, why don't you tell me all about how you got the wound? What precisely has happened here? I've only just arrived on this planet, and apparently no one has time to tell me anything. You, on the other hand, don't seem to be going anywhere, so you have nothing but time.
I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just the plants, they just come every night.
And they stab people.
They just, There was one through my shoulder.
Has anyone tried evacuating to a different part of the planet? Is this localized just to this area?
Have we done a roll yet, Scott?
No, we haven't.
Let's do a roll.
Say a roll. Do you mean a changed roll or?
Well, I'm sure that'll come. But for the moment, let's do a medical roll.
Okay, I think this seems important enough that I'm going to bring my changed die into it. So I'm going to roll 3 dice here to not only help the man, but to try to work out exactly what caused the wound and pick up as much information from his injuries as I can.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay, I rolled 2 1s and a 2.
Well, let's go with that for the moment. And if you want to reroll, so something has gone through this guy's skin. It doesn't seem to be a penetration wound, so you can't quite tell that it's come through one side and come out the other. So it's odd. There's something odd about it. But yes, it's a normal wound. You can bind it up. And for a 2, that's what you get. And please do re-roll.
Yeah, I am absolutely going to re-roll. I'm not a complete monster, so I will apply some topical anesthetic so that he's not in too much pain while I examine the wound. But I want to try to get a good idea of what precisely happened here. That's better. I got a 6 this time.
Yes, definitely. I have a feeling you add your change die precisely so you can roll a 6. I did. But yeah.
Yes.
And let's. So I'm not going to give you the sort of weird thing straight away, but let's play out a bit of conversation. So, look, I mean, this thing just appeared through him, right? It didn't thrust through him. It just kind of appeared.
That is absolutely fascinating. I'll ask him, were you infected with some kind of spore? Did this grow out of you? Or...
And Terrence's mind is working, right? And isn't this completely consistent with the time that the time was going weird on the shuttle? Perhaps the plants just they pass through time in a different way.
Yes, that is fascinating. I think it still also calls for a changed role.
Yeah, that sounds good. By the way, the injuries that everyone had, and there weren't any wounds. Perhaps they're just wounds that haven't happened yet.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay, Terrence's changed has gone up here. This is getting to him.
Nice.
Yes, well, try not to move too much. I think we've got the worst of the bleeding taken care of here. You may not get the full use back of that arm. Is that your dominant arm?
Yes, it is. But that's good. I don't.
That's a shame. Well,
No.
as I said, try.
No,
try
I
not
just. I'll be glad to not work. Do you like work?
Well, yes.
You like working?
Yes, I do.
You like the things Extractor makes you do? And let's have
I
this
didn't
kind of
say I
going
like-
through the communicator. Is this okay? Can everyone else hear this?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't like every aspect of my job with Extractor, if I'm brutally honest, but it does expose me to a number of very interesting scientific and medical situations, which, shall we say, have broadened my horizons.
Okay. If you say so. They don't care about you.
It's all right.
You just-
I don't care about them either.
And he approves of that and smiles and laughs.
Pierce, I'll say over
Yes.
the comms, we need to speak at once. I believe you are in mortal danger.
Excuse me? Yes, by all means.
Let's discuss this in person. Meet me in the main hallway. It should be easy to find. I'll see you there.
And we're all
in
hearing
2
this?
minutes.
If we've all heard that on comms, basically the last thing that Pierce remembers saying before this, like, rip in time and space and where he found himself looping back onto a planet is that Extraxa didn't send us here to get these people out. They sent us here to be test subjects. And he's just heard this person say, they don't care about you. So I think that's another change. Yes, of course, I go up.
You just need some brain surgery. It's fine.
And also, Terrence telling you you're in mortal danger might be a
Yes,
change.
yes, of course.
Just keep rolling.
They've sent us here again. We're not here to terraform anything. They've put us in a maze.
Are you in a room with patients? You are, aren't you, Piers?
Yeah, I think I've maybe moved down the hallway, kind of just glancing down into the other rooms, and I'm sort of like muttering to myself here. So if Terrence wants to catch up to me, I may be like walking in sort of a fugue state into the Great Hall at the moment.
Well, Piers, I was going to say, so if you're muttering to yourself, they don't care about you. They just sent us here to. What do you say? Just sent us here.
They didn't send us here to terraform anything. They've just put their little rats into a maze.
And you know, let's have you pass a patient, and the patient will go, "You finally got it."
What did you came here? How many of you are there?
The extraction teams. Just there's been what 100, 200, not 100 teams, 100, 200 people. They send you here today. Pierce
And
remembers
he's just
the
kind of
First
like
World
letting
War, right?
that reel. Oh yeah, and he's studied that. He's studied these things, and that if anything, this is what it's reminding him of, or like photographs of field hospitals and after the First World War with like horribly mangled young men with gazing traumatized eyes. Yes, they don't care. And they just keep sending wave after wave, knowing what will happen.
Patient looks in your eyes and nods.
What are they? Why? What do they want to know? What could they possibly want to know?
Go and look in the offices.
And with that, I will kind of look in the direction that this poor soul gazed, and I will go in that direction.
I'm just imagining Terrence now standing in the main hall going, Pierce, where are you, Pierce? If I'm going to examine you, let's make this quick. There are people dying.
And then maybe if I hear that, I'm just like, there's no point examining me, Dr. Drummond. I'm not myself.
Yes, but, well, I'm more than happy to save other lives if you believe yours is forfeit.
I am moving towards trying to find offices right now.
Sure. Which is actually going to take you through the main hall, right? So you were in one wing, which is hospital. The other wing is going to be extractor offices and laboratories. Actually, I want to come back to just... sorry to cut away from that. It seems natural to keep going with that. But let's go to Darby and Marius and see what they're doing.
I mean, Darby kind of had it in her head that them all being together was probably a safe bet. So if she was able to hear Terrence talking about meeting in the Great Hall, I think she would be kind of steering Marius towards that direction.
Great. Let's have you all together.
Good. I want to get that shoulder looked at, so that's perfect.
Can I just to clarify the so the kind of like hospital ward area is the servants' quarters where we first came in, so it's like on the first floor?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you disturbed that they put the vulnerable people on the floor they said to get off of?
Well, yeah. So that's I think that's kind of like bothering her, and that might just be as they reconvene, she might just say like, "Why are they telling us? Why are they telling us to make sure we're on the second floor if all of the wounded folk are down here on the first floor?"
That's a good question. Maybe we should see what's on the second floor.
I would suspect perhaps because they consider that if you've been wounded already, you're probably either expendable or done for. But...
well, then why bother having doctors? Why have you look at them, you know?
I don't think those orders are coming directly from Extractor. I think those are just the medical staff here panicking, not knowing what else to do.
But the second floor could just be flooded with people hiding, and we don't know what's up there.
Yes, well, we'll have time to check, but Pierce, you mentioned something about records.
Yes.
Is that right? Then let's take a look. No, I understand you haven't been on quite as many missions as I have, and the whole concept that Extractor considers us expendable and is perhaps more than willing to use us as test subjects may come as a bit of a shock to you, but it is far from news. This has been my experience with every single mission they've sent us on, and at this stage, I would have been surprised if it hadn't been the case this time.
Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. If we are all bought in on the idea that this is possibly an experiment of some kind, how do we know which bits are the experiment and which bits are not? I mean, like who's the Confederate and who's the test subject? Pierce, you're being told. I think
what we're seeing here is a company, a bureaucracy that has thrown large numbers of resources at a situation. Its greatest resource is the people that they sent here, including us, and they simply gather data on what is found. What we can do, and I have tried to impress this upon some of your predecessors, is find ways of turning this horrible situation into something that Extractor can actually profit from, so that they see us as being valuable enough to save.
No, that's a good idea. That's good. That's good, Terrence. We haven't tried that.
Okay, so last time we were talking about how some of the plants on the last mission were messing with time. They seem to be able to forestall the devastation of the glitch consuming a planet? I mean, is there like a defense or something defensive that could be used here? That kind of profit?
Quite possibly. My supposition at this stage, and it is pure supposition, is that these plants exist in a different relationship with time than we do. And that the wounds that perhaps we're seeing here are not malicious in any way, that they are not the plants defending themselves or attacking us. They're simply the unfortunate effect of two bodies occupying the same space at the same time.
Oh. I mean that's fascinating. And also, I guess what I meant was, is time manipulation something that Extraxa could use to profit from?
Absolutely.
So is that our angle? Could that be our? Okay.
Yes, if
what do we do?
We can find out what it is that makes these plants special, that creates this unusual relationship with time, and present some kind of report on it, then I imagine Extraxa will have no choice but to rescue us so that we can present this and the possibilities that it presents.
How do we tell them if we've figured it out, though? How do they even know?
Well, one problem at a time. Let's see, first of all, whether we can work this out. Let's go through the records, see what work has been done already, see whether there's any way of contacting Extraxa, then perhaps we can build on that.
Okay.
And the late afternoon sun spills across the Great Hall.
What I would suggest, first of all, though, however, is we go upstairs and find somewhere to bed down for the night, because we are not going to make much progress with this if we're dead.
So late afternoon, so it's not quite sunset. If you got maybe, well, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, you have time to do a bit more if you want to.
Pierce desperately wants to see whatever records they've got in these offices. And so hearing this whole theory laid out calmly by Drummond, and Pierce, whose annoyance is rising at Drummond's pedantry more and more. It's like, if we test subject, yes. What use could there be? I mean, if the plants that we just encountered could seem to create loops in time. Imagine the preservation possibilities if you could create a pocket of time.
Indeed.
If you could extract something from a planet, move it across a galaxy, and have it exist within a time bubble, ever repeating. Yes, I dare say that would be of use. As for these plants that near as we can tell are unstuck in time, or moving in a timeline incongruous to those of ourselves, I don't yet see the use, but I would like to know what the people on the ground have discovered, and I'll move in and see if into an office and see if I can find anything approaching a filing cabinet or a computer system or anything like that.
So there is a wing of Extraxa offices and laboratories. Haven't been used for a long time. And very, very, very dusty. A lot of them kind of knocked over and bashed about. And the plants seem to have grown through them as well, so they have sort of holes in them. But the records are there. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to roll 3 dice to examine records.
This is the first floor still, Graham, for the offices?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
A 4, a 6, and a 5.
Ooh, 6 is lovely. And what were you trying to find out exactly?
I want to find out, precise, the theory is coalescing that by night, these plants occupy a timeline that overlaps with the Extraxa facility here, and that whoever's sort of caught occupying the same space as they do in that time is impaled by them. I'd like to see if that theory appears to be correct, and if there's anything else we can judge it seems weird that it would occur in a day cycle. That this, if there's anything that we can like zero in on, like what is the timeline that they are occupying?
Yeah, that sounds good. Can I just check? Is anyone else doing stuff as well?
Are there systems here? I just want to see if I can get into any of their systems. Maybe see if they have two-way communication with Extraxa in particular.
Yeah, in the offices there'll be something. I think. I don't know how likely it is you're going to have a conversation with the exchange, but we can, we can try.
It might be one way, but they might receive something if we decide to send it.
Darby, Terrence, I really just kind of want to check where you are. No reason.
Terrence has gone to the office as well. He's looking for medical records.
That's good. There are a lot of offices and a lot of laboratories. Darby, go on.
Okay, if Marius's exploration is taking him someplace other than the offices, not wanting to let anyone go anywhere alone, she will follow Marius.
Mm-hmm.
I also realize I laid out a lot of stuff there, but another thing that's nagging at Pierce's mind is that the last planet we were on, the relationship with these plants and the time loop that they created encouraged the human inhabitants to sort of fall into this rhythm that was also unstuck in time. They were sort of enacting a Victorian scene. And I'm now seeing that we are now enacting a circa World War I scene. We've fallen again into the rhythms of the human past. And I want to see if these records are reflect that as well.
That's nice. Okay, so I mean, actually, Piers, let's have you. I mean, this isn't so much office stuff; it's like laboratory logbooks and so on. So let's have you wandering through these deserted laboratories where, there are lab benches laid out. There are little samples of plants. There are sort of atomic clocks like scattered all over a lab bench because they've been doing experiments with time. So you rolled a 6, right? So, so the first thing is, yes, this makes perfect sense. And actually, let's have Pierce just sort of almost like sort of seeing beyond the veil for a moment. So, I mean, you're a historian, right? I mean, something switches in Pierce's mind, and this is actually quite exciting because it does make sense that there could be a timeline that's not quite alongside our linear timeline. There's another that kind of loops and goes back and forth. And I mean, imagine what history would look like there, right? That'd be amazing. But yes, it makes perfect sense. So, the plants pop in and out of existence. And one of the scientists did think he'd found a way to stop it.
Okay.
Because if you look through the records of the mansion, this got worse and worse over time, right? So the mansion stands on terraformed land, and then for a while it was absolutely fine, and then the plants began to encroach, and the scientists basically said, well, if we could terraform the place again, does that in some way impose a human linear conception of time on the area? Maybe the terraforming is fading in some way. In any case, he seems to think that terraforming might be the way to hit back at the plants, push them away, kill them completely. But let's actually go back to this idea of Pierce with, like different historical timelines in his head and this exciting stuff.
No, history is a subjective discipline. We can always rely on the records of first-hand accounts, which are, of course, always tainted by subjectivity. But if one could fall back, one could experience for themselves all timelines existing at once, all memories overlapping.
Imagine if two subjects pass through history in different ways. Like, imagine the different Extraxa, right? I mean, start with the Invisible Hand, that big ship in space. Imagine all the different ways Extraxa could have evolved.
Yes, the ancient, the relatively around this time that these people are reenacting the idea of a chaos theory, where one small change creates nearly infinite branching timelines, that these might be accessible, that Extraxa could set up trading posts with alternate versions of itself, that we may be able to communicate not only across worlds and vast distances, but vast temporal gulfs as well. And as these and looking over records and seeing sort of metallic things playing over his augmented eyes, yes, he's definitely muttering this out loud.
Yes, that's the stuff, Pierce. That's the kind of thing that's going to get us off this planet.
Yes.